Right now, there is a massive concern, not just in the United States, but over in the Middle East, that Iran and Israel are going to create a wider war. This is one of the reasons why President Trump, just yesterday, signals escalation in Israel-Iran conflict as he left the G7 summit early. Now, this is rather troubling, okay? When the President of the United States is leaving the G7 summit early, there's a reason for that. And according to reports just this morning, they are saying that the President Trump has actually called people to the Situation Room at the White House. Why? Well, I want to show you something. Okay, listen to this right here.
Situation prompted President Trump to cut short his trip to Canada for the G7 Leaders Summit. We talked about this yesterday. Before departing, the president posted this warning to his social media profile, urging people to, quote, immediately evacuate Tehran. That is a metro area home to at least 13 million people, keep in mind.
So he's telling everyone, okay, and I'll just read the statement from President Trump. It says, Iran should have signed the deal. I told them to sign. What a shame and waste of human life, simply stated. Iran cannot have a nuclear weapon. I said it over and over again. Everyone should immediately evacuate Tehran. It sounds like, and again, this is from last night, it sounds like the United States is getting involved in this war between Israel and Iran. Are they? I don't know. But if President Trump is coming out and saying this, that's concerning. Is the United States, okay? This is a question. Is the United States going to bomb Tehran? We don't know. That's what we're going to find out. Look at this. It says President Trump calls for a real end to Iran nuclear program. Hints war to escalate. Now, what exactly does this mean? Well, I want to read this to you. It says right here, President Trump said early Tuesday morning that he wants a real end to Iran's nuclear problem, with Tehran giving up entirely its enrichment activities. He said he was not just working toward a ceasefire to end the war between Iran and Israel, which has claimed at least 24 lives in Israel and hundreds in Iran as it enters its 5th day. I didn't say I was looking for a ceasefire, is what he told reporters on Air Force One. Okay. And I said this the other day, that Israel isn't looking for a ceasefire. The United States isn't going to push Israel to accept a ceasefire because the real problem still exists. That Iran is producing, trying to produce weapons-grade, material, nuclear material. That's the issue. Well, look what's happening now, because it's actually escalating. It says Turkey accelerates missile production amid fears of a wider war. And it's not just Turkey, it's other countries in the Middle East. But I want to play something for you, okay? I want to play this clip for you right here. Listen to this.
Begin and talk about what Iran has. They have enough rockets to be able to hit any of these areas, correct?
That is right. I mean, Iran has not only threatened to go after U.S. forces and our Gulf allies, it's hit our Gulf allies before in Saudi Arabia, in the UAE. And so our Gulf allies are afraid that Iran is going to use these missiles to attack them.
So we're worried about our troops in Iraq. We're worried about our troops in Qatar. I got it. But do you think that they would hit a Gulf state in order to, I guess, throw it off put pressure on other countries to stop Israel from hitting them?
That is one of the keys here, okay? The question that he just asked, would Iran threaten one of the other Gulf states in order to put pressure on Israel to actually establish some type of ceasefire agreement, reach a deal? Iran could do that because targeting Israel right now isn't going so well because a lot of their missiles are not actually getting through the Iron Dome. Let's keep listening.
Not only do I think so, they've actually threatened to do so, and they've already done so. So that's exactly the way that they want to involve the Gulf allies, put pressure on the Gulf allies, and try to deter our involvement.
So you hear about ballistic missiles. What does Iran have? Is Israel surprised by the number that they have? Here's a look of, if you're going to go shopping, this is what Israel has put on their Amazon account. What rockets should we be thinking about, and what do you think is key for what these rockets are capable of?
Well, first of all, anything that is nuclear capable is defined as a 500-kilogram payload delivered over 300 kilometers. So that's nuclear capable. If these missiles get into Israel, and if the Iranians were developing nuclear warheads, which is exactly what Israeli intelligence said they were going to do, they could deliver not just a conventional payload, but a nuclear payload. And they've got these from the Chinese, the North Koreans, and the Russians.
You know what's so interesting is you got David Sling, you have the Iron Dome, you got 2 arrow systems, and you have a laser system, and somehow between 10 and 15% are still getting through. This is the tougher question. Is there any rocket in particular that's giving the Israelis trouble more than they thought?
Well, I think the Shahab 3s are very dangerous. I mean, they've got the largest ballistic missile inventory in the Middle East, 3,000 ballistic missiles, 2,000 of them capable of reaching Israel. And the Israelis, I think, have knocked out about 50% of their ballistic missile capability. The Israeli Air Force is hunting missile launchers. That's exactly what they're going after. They've knocked out about 30% of those.
Not easy, a lot of them in the back of trucks. All right, now let's see what Israel's got and bringing to the table. This is what they've been doing. They've been using fighter jets. They've been going about 1,000 miles, hitting different military targets, not civilian targets, although they hit state-run media yesterday.
I do want to mention one thing really quick, that that was showing what Israel has. Okay, that's what's in their arsenal. But what's very big, and it's not on here. They got the United States in their back corner. That's the key. Okay, now when the United States comes knocking, when the United States is threatening to send troops, okay, that's where these countries should be concerned. That's where Iran should be concerned. When the United States is preparing our Navy fleet, that's where other countries should see that the United States and President Trump are not playing around. President Trump is different than what President Biden was. Okay? Under former President Joe Biden, other countries could, escalate situations, and we had issues with Iran. We had this before. This isn't something that's new. The only difference is our leadership. Our leadership is different. Okay? Not only that, but Iran, according to reports, was even closer than ever before of having nuclear-grade weapons. Okay? They were just weeks away. And that was the concern. So that, alongside a change in leadership for us here in the United States, that's what's creating this conflict. It's because President Trump is not going to stand by and allow Iran to have nuclear weapons. He said that. He said it time and time again. And he's standing by that. That's the concern. So right now, what's the expectation? Well, the expectation is something is going to happen in Tehran. We know that. Why would President Trump come out and say everybody should just evacuate now? Right? People are freaking out because they have nowhere to go. They are freaking out. 13 million people trying to evacuate a massive city. It's not going to happen in minutes. It's going to potentially take days, if not weeks, to get people out. The United States and Israel are not going to wait that long. So, what does this mean? Well, expect something massive to happen. I don't know what it's going to be. I don't know how many lives it's going to take, but expect something massive. That's what we're hearing. So, I'll leave you with that. But as we get more information later on today, I'll bring you all the latest news and updates as soon as we get it. But as of today, that is what we know. So again, thank you guys for watching. Consider subscribing, and I'll see you guys on the next one.